Hey guys, it's your boy Skitty. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today was pretty chill, for the most part anyway. I got up super early, woke up hella tired actually, and made my way to the bus stop. Today was the day that Tuesdays and Thursdays we normally do our work through the therapy place that I'm currently at, and it helps pay for our rent. And yeah, I tried to get a good night's sleep. I went to bed somewhat early, but only got like maybe 5-6 hours in total. So yeah, I just woke up super groggy, not wanting to do much of anything, kind of in like just a wore out mood, just tired. As I mentioned in my last video, I've kind of been letting go of a lot of things that I've been dealing with, doing some shadow work, and it seemed like today, after cutting off all those ties and pushing away all that negative energy, it wanted to come back all at once in full force. I felt it this morning when I was getting out of bed. It was kind of just like dragging ass, just like, effort. So it took me a minute to kind of adjust to that and kind of re-find my center, I guess you would say. But I ended up heading my way over to group, caught the bus, went over to McDonald's. I was gonna try their honey butter biscuit bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, and unfortunately the lady there said that they didn't have it at that point in time, so that was kind of a letdown. I wanted to try it, may have even made a video on it, a mukbang or whatever it is, just to give my opinion on it or whatever, but that fell through. So I ended up basically wanting to get some sausage McMuffins, just regular ones, but the lady ended up charging me for the sausage McMuffin with egg, but it's fine because I did their little survey that they had on their receipt. So basically I got two for the price of one. The egg was definitely good on the sandwich, and I'm kind of grateful that I did get it with egg. So it all ended up working out in the long run. But we ended up making it to group, and we read parts and portions of the big book. On one of the portions that we read, it was the gay dude walking on the tightrope. That related to me in the simple fact that he was talking about seeing shadow monsters and stuff like that, and that kind of rang a bell for me, because I went through the same things when I was going through my addiction, and just mainly heavy drinking. It started to happen to me, just like seeing shit out of the corner of my eyes. And the strangest thing is a lot of people mentioned that it was out to kill them. It never really got that serious for me, as far as like wanting to kill me, but I was very well aware that they were there. It's not the first time I've dealt with demonic entities, or just the supernatural in general. More oftentimes than not, I can keep my cool around situations, but I don't try to fuck around and find out, sort of say. I will either change my environment or pray against it, depending on the situation. But yeah, I've been in some situations where I've seen some pretty crazy stuff while faded. This one time when me and my wife, we were separated for a little while, I went pro. I actually got a room at Motel 6 for like a weekend straight, and I was just getting shit-faced bombed like big time. And I remember a part of it where I visualized a pentagram from out of nowhere, and it was written in blood, and I could hear the spirits talking to me like it wanted to come after me or come get me. And I prayed against that, and it tried to give me a vision of my pastor that I had at the time, like, oh, what the hell is he gonna do, and it was like, I ended up praying against it. It's like, it doesn't matter what he does, like, he's a man of God, and you're not gonna touch him, and you're not gonna touch me in the name of Jesus. Like, I didn't forget who has the power, in my life, and who my higher power is. So I ended up praying against it, and of course it went away. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was more just weird than anything else. I don't really try to focus on the fear-based things when it comes to the supernatural and like the spookiness, because I know what it is. I've dabbled in dark arts type stuff before, and I'm very well aware of demonic attacks and things of that nature. But anyway, I related to that portion. The second portion, I was kind of just being lazy, being tired, getting in my head, because I was like, usually after a little bit more reading, we go do our work for the day. And one of the counselors who normally takes us around to do said work was sick for the day. So a part of me was definitely lazy and not wanting to do it. It was kind of like, whew, thank God, we kind of get a rest day, we kind of get to kick back and relax. And one of the other counselors who was there brought it up that, yeah, the other counselor is sick, so we're going to call it an early day. This would be a good time to, hunt for a job if you're looking for a job. And instead of beelining it home like I initially was thinking, like, oh, thank God, I got plenty of time before I have group, I'm just going to go home and, kick back, relax, and maybe even potentially take a nap because I was super tired. Anyway, I ended up taking his advice. I ended up going to a couple of different employers in the area and ended up asking them if they were hiring, and found a couple of good, potential places I can work at, and it just felt good putting in the legwork and doing that instead of just loafing around all day. But when I ended up getting home, I kicked back, relaxed for a little while, and yeah, I ended up taking a nap. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like doing more work in regards to my step work and in regards to potentially putting more applications out there, but due to just me being so tired, like, I didn't even play games or anything like that. I just crashed out for a little while, caught some sleep, and ended up eventually making my way back to the office for group. So I ended up going to group, and the first group was pretty decent. We ended up doing our equine therapy with the horses, and we ended up doing a group that I've done before. And what was nice is I didn't feel so fearful around the horses. As I mentioned previously, horses kind of freak me out a little bit, but this time around, since it was an exercise that we did before, that I've done before in the past, so I was definitely more comfortable being around the horses and relating to them. Me, I am very sensitive to the spirit, and can connect with the horses pretty easy regardless of my respect for them. Like I said, it's not so much a fear, but these are pretty big animals that we're around. They can take you out if you're not careful, not to say that they aren't trained to be around humans and to not while out and stuff like that and be dangerous, because not once have I seen them going out of their way to be dangerous. But they're still big animals, and people have gotten stepped on and nipped at, they're horses, But it was definitely comfortable being around the horse that me and one of the other guys got. I related to that horse, and yeah, I connected with the horse, and it was a good experience. So that went well. Granted, it was hot and the flies were being little bastards like they always are, but other than that, it was actually pretty chill. But yeah, after that, we ended up going back to the group house, the therapy center, and ended up going up the road and picked up another soda. I probably shouldn't have. I definitely need to lay off of the sugar and the sodas again. I feel like I'm getting caught back in that loop. I need to lay off of it. Sugary drinks. I ended up weighing myself today, and I'm basically about 30 pounds overweight compared to where I would like to be. Just me in general. Like, I could lose a lot more weight if I wanted to, but yeah, compared to where I normally am at and where I'm at right now, I have gained a measurable amount of weight while I was in residential because, we had a personal chef. I haven't been fasting as much. Like, I have a little bit here recently being out, but I only tried maybe fasting a couple of days when I was in residential. So between having a personal chef and them taking us out, I have basically just went pro and gained a bunch of weight while I was in there, and had plans on cutting back while I've gotten out. Now that I'm out, going to McDonald's, drinking soda, and just stuff like that, it collects up, it takes up. So I need to get back in gear and get back into fasting and being a little bit more proactive with my health as opposed to just going pro in regards to food, and not wanting to switch out one addiction for another, and yeah, so definitely taking a look at that and working on that and chipping at it. But our night group, we ended up having our therapeutic community. That's basically where we call each other out for certain character defects, and just basically helping each other out, because sometimes it's really good to have somebody on the outside looking in point out maybe something that you may have missed in regards to your recovery. And I always try and be the best that I possibly can and not call anybody out on just dumb shit. Like, if I see somebody that might have something that is affecting them and may potentially hurt them in their recovery, I'm sure they're probably well aware of it, but I'll, try to point that out as opposed to like, hey, you fucking forgot to clean your fork. I mean, if it's like a one-time thing, it's like, okay, I get it, dude. We're all fucking dudes, and, some of us are bachelors and, forget to clean up after ourselves every once in a while, or if they leave their laundry in the washer or dryer, yeah, it's a character defect, take a look at it, whatever, but we're all grown men, I don't think that that's going to wreck your recovery. But if there's somebody who's like down and out, or like, having something that pops up that I can see that it may fuck with them, then me being a brother, yeah, I'll definitely go out of my way to like try and point that out to him and be like, hey man, like, if there's anything, that you need to work on, I'll definitely try and help you out in that aspect, as opposed to being a dickhead about it and like fucking with you for no reason, sort of say. But everything went well. There was a lot of things that were addressed, and we got through that and taken care of. We have kudos that we share with each other, and I was one of the guys that ended up getting kudos from all the guys, which felt really good. I appreciate you guys for the kind words and pointing out some of my character defects that I need to work on. And I'm a work in progress. I'll definitely be taking a look at that and focusing on trying to better myself. I'm not perfect by any means, and putting myself out there and, doing the damn thing properly, hopefully to the best of my ability, and not shortchanging myself like I did last time. And I definitely don't want any, hiccups in my recovery, or having anything take me out that was a character defect that I had on my first and second run. So, yeah, it was definitely awesome having some of the guys point out some of the things that may affect my recovery, and also having them say very kind words, in their feelings about me. It's always nice having somebody, giving you a pat on the back and acknowledging some of the cool things about you. And so that was definitely really cool. And yeah, other than that, ended up making it home. Probably gonna grab a little bit of dinner here in a little while. I just found out that my roommate may have moved out. I don't know if that was due to me. Hopefully not. Hopefully he just found a better area of the house that he would rather be in that works better for him. Hopefully I'm not the one who scared him off or drove him away for whatever reason. But if it is, sorry, bro. And if not, I wish you well in whatever room of the house you choose to be in. That may work better for you. But for the time being, that's one of the reasons why I'm recording the video here in the room, because nobody's really in here to bother me. It's just me now, which, yeah, that's got to be kind of something I got to get used to, but I'm sure it won't be forever. I'm sure there'll be another guy in the house who ends up coming into the room, and I'm cool with whoever decides to come in, man. It takes all kinds, and hopefully it's somebody cool and somebody chill, and we can get along together. Not that me and my last roommate didn't really get together, but we just didn't really talk that much. Like, he seems like a really cool guy, and like I said, I wish him well, regardless of where he's at and what he's doing. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for stopping by, and stay blessed.